Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this info session on an upcoming program that we've got, which is Masters of Science in AI and ML Ops. This program is offered by NMIMS School of Continuing Education, and our knowledge partners for this program are INSOFE. Okay, so let me walk you this evening on what this program has to offer. What are the key insights into this program that make it really interesting from the student perspective? Okay, how is it that we've designed this program in order to ensure that you can keep up with what's really relevant in the industry at this point in time? And how do you typically apply whatever you've learned into a practical way and in a way with the help of which you can actually demonstrate what you have learned across the program in the form of algorithms that you design or some kind of, I would say, a product or a mock product which you could actually put to use, right? So let me give you a quick brief of what the agenda is today for discussion and quickly pick up from there. Right? I am Brinda Sampat, and I'm a professor at NMIMS Global Access School for Continuing Education in the area of information systems and analytics. And this evening, the presentation that I'm going to run with you will talk about the AI/ML program, give you a brief about what the program is, what is expected in terms of the topics that we will be teaching you in the program. I'll walk you through an overview. I'll talk about the exam structure. Okay, I'll talk about our placement support or the assistance that we offer here. Of course, the eligibility and the admission criteria, right? I'm sure there will be a lot of questions along the way, which I'm going to answer them for you. But I'll pick up these questions intermittently as I finish certain topics. So whatever questions you've got, please keep them pouring. And immediately as I finish some topics in the presentation, I will quickly look at your questions and try answer and help you as much as I can. All right, so let's quickly see what this program has to offer. All right, this is a 24-month program, okay, which is essentially 2 years in duration. And the validity of this program is basically twice the amount, which is 48 months. What I essentially mean by that is, whilst you can study this program technically for 2 years, for any reason, if you would have to probably take a break and come back into the program, you could do so and try to finish it in 48 months. This program is spread over 8 academic terms, with each term having certain or bundle certain subjects together, which kind of make the progression for a student easy, right from the fundamental concepts that we cover until the application and until the final product or the project dissertation that you've got to undertake. So each term has been very carefully designed with curating certain courses which will assimilate and make it easy for you to learn the concepts to move ahead into the program. The way we deliver these programs, given the fact that we're working professionals, right? We ensure that a student goes through one course at a time. So of the entire bouquet of courses that you have to study in this particular program, the way you will consume them is one after the other, right? So only after you finish one do you move to the next. Now, in this case, each course will be for rough about over 2 weeks, which is around 15 days in duration to 20 days. There will be some courses where you will be where you will need to expend more time. So those may be slightly longer in duration. Otherwise, courses will be for about 2 weeks. So once you finish a particular course, then you kind of move on to the next course. In order to be able to deliver these courses, which are quite relevant in the industry at this point in time. We've got a good pool of faculty who are very well qualified, who are working as consultants in many of these firms, dealing with their projects. So we've got a rich pool of faculty who will be assisting you or facilitating you throughout this program. Like I said, considering the fact that this is a new age tech program, it would be a little incomplete to deliver this program without having a good blend of theory as well as practical component to the course, right? And when I mean the practical, I mean hands-on lab sessions or learning certain tools which you can actually apply and use while you are designing certain algorithms. In order to do that, we've ensured that back again, when we teach our students, we strike a balance in terms of what we've got as teaching hours, right? As well as the practical lab hours. So as you can clearly see, you will have over 220 teaching hours. These will be done online and these will be done in the evenings. As against, we've also got practical lab sessions, which again will be conducted online whilst you are using your systems. And these will again be, interspersed as and when required between the theory classes. So when you finish a theoretical concept and you need to now practice it on the tool, so we've ensured that we've got the lab sessions, integrated at regular intervals in the course, so as that whatever topic you've learned, you can kind of practice it. Then there are two elements which are really interesting, and this is what makes the program, I would say, very relevant to the industry professionals. The first thing that we've got here is a boot camp, right? And I will, of course, talk about this at length in the upcoming slides, but to give you a quick preview of what this boot camp is all about. The boot camp is basically an immersion activity that you carry out. And this is a 1 week immersion activity that you will carry out on the campus, where the objective of the immersion activity is to actually apply everything that you have learned in the course, right? So as a part of the boot camp, what you will be undergoing or what you will be developing will be 2 prototypes or 2 mock products or 2, I would say, live products that we can actually execute and see the results of, right? And the second thing here that we've got is a master's dissertation, which essentially is more like a research work that you will undertake with live data, of course, and try again present some wonderful insights or come up with new ways to solve that problem, right? I will talk about both these things, okay, in the upcoming slides. Now, the classes for these are conducted in the evenings, and these are over Monday to Thursday. Given the fact that we know you are working professionals, I reiterate this point. Classes are conducted in a manner, okay, wherein we've ensured that there is flexibility in terms of the time that we've got here in the evenings after your work, as well as the way in which you consume the matter, okay, it has been designed in that way. Another important element here is, in order to make this industry relevant, we've ensured that the electives that we offer to the students are back again very relevant to the industry. So we've got courses such as, I would say, natural language processing. We're looking at big data. We're looking at robotics. And another topic here that we've got is reinforcement learning, right? Of course, in order to learn these new age courses, back again, you will require certain tools at your disposal. And in order to do that, we walk you through tools such as R, we teach you Python, we also teach you Tableau, right? Now, the idea of being able to introduce you to these new age courses, back again, is the fact that these are currently what are being used by industries. So if you were to look for a position of growth, or if you were to move into this field altogether, all right, these would be, I would say, the courses that would come very handy. Okay, fine. Let's try and look at how do we actually go about teaching this course, right? So how is this course delivered per se? You will be required to attend live online sessions, pretty much the way you and I are interacting with each other at this point in time. There will be live online sessions which will be conducted for these courses. And like I mentioned even earlier, these will be in the evening. Right? Similarly, there will be the several tools that I spoke to you about, such as R, Python, and Tableau. The practicals for these will also be conducted online, where you have the facilitator teaching you certain concepts, and you are required to practice them along with the facilitator in order to kind of learn, ensure that you get the same output, etc. What we have also realized and incorporated in the program are certain Q&A mentor sessions. What do these mentor sessions do? These are ideally placed on a Friday in the program. Remember, I said you have classes from Monday to Thursday. On certain weeks in the program, okay, we have introduced these Q&A mentor sessions, and the idea here is to be able to bring to the student insights from the industry. Okay, so when students have questions regarding what they are actually studying and the application of those concepts from the industry point of view, these Q&A mentoring sessions can help understand those concepts in a more granular manner. Right. So clearly, since this is a mentoring session, you can ask any questions regarding the current practices that you're learning, its application in the industry. At the same time, maybe the professor that you've got could be a consultant to a company, and how is it that data science and machine learning is evolving with time. We can have this one-on-one session where we're discussing all these latest trends. Then again, the two elements which really bring life to the whole program is the product development bootcamp, okay, and the master's dissertation. In all, if you ask me at the end of this program, what is it really that you will take away, right? So one is, you not only have an exposure to various techniques and tools. Okay, you not only will be studying the new age courses such as, like I said, NLP, robotics. We're not only talking about that, but with the theoretical knowledge and the practical application that you've done in the bootcamp and dissertation, we believe that you will be somebody who is ready to kind of get on into the industry and solve problems. Right? You will know right from start how do you start developing an application until the stage where you will be able to deploy them in real time, applications in the industry. Right? So we're not only handholding you from the fundamentals, but also ensuring that once you've undergone this entire journey with us, you're pretty confident of being able to apply any of these algorithms that you've studied with data in your organization. All right. Let's take a quick look at what is it that you're going to study in the program, right? So at the onset, I said this is spread over 8 terms or 8 semesters, or we've got 8 modules, however you wish to term that, right? Let's see how has this been designed. Given the fact that since you are working, there is a chance a few students would have probably, left their studies behind a few years ago. There is a chance since you're working, maybe these concepts may probably not come to you as easily. So what we've done is the first 2 terms, as you can see, cover the very fundamentals, basics, which will be required in the AI ML program. The idea of keeping this term or these 2 terms as introductory terms, okay, is to ensure that everybody gets onto the same page. Old concepts are revised, refreshed, some new concepts are learned as and when you move on into the journey, right? So if you look at it, like I said, some courses may probably, some terms may be heavy because they've got more courses. Some courses may be slightly long, so maybe then there are less number of courses in that term, right? So starting with the first quarter or the first module in the program or the first term, we've got foundations of probability and statistics, right? We've got data structures, and algorithms, okay? We've got advanced mathematical analysis for data science, okay? Then what we do in the next module is we pick up essential skills that you would require for big data. This could be teaching you the basics of programming. Okay, so we start with R, we start with Python. Okay, then we again move on into statistics and probability, which is back again a course which is required to kind of move on. You've already studied data structures in term one, so we kind of take you one step ahead and get into advanced data structures, right? Fair enough. Moving on to quarter, or term three, we've got the art and science of storytelling and visualization. And as you can see out here on this slide, based on every course that we have, there will be a tool associated with it, which you may kind of learn, or once you've learned it, you may practice it using that tool, right? So given this tool is about visualization and storytelling, we basically teach you Tableau out here. Okay, then moving on to the next, we've got machine learning 1 and we've got machine learning 2. These will be taught to you either by using R, or once you've learned Python, for students who are comfortable with Python, you could carry out your findings even in Python. Okay. Coming to quarter 4, as you can see, this is again an extension. You will be studying some more of AI and ML. So we study an extension, so advanced machine learning 3. You're being introduced to AI and decision science as a course now, right? And then you see onto the slide, what we've got is elective. Okay, now what exactly do I mean by that, and how are we to go about it? So as you can see onto the right, we've got certain courses which have been mentioned here, right? What a student needs to do is pick any one of these from the list given here. So the list that we've got is computer vision, okay? We've got text mining and NLP, we've got big data and robotics. So you're basically supposed to select one out of these 4. All right, moving on to the next term. Now that you've got your mathematical foundation in place, you've got familiarized with a few courses in computer science. We teach you about AI ML. You've got your technical bit in place, but please understand, when you move into an organization, you will need to have a blend of not only the technical knowledge, but also an exposure to how these techniques can be used or how these techniques can be managed, right? And that's the reason where we thought introducing you to the relevant managerial courses will ensure that these technologies, when applied in the organization, you have a better grip understanding of what could be the implications in a management scenario. Given that, we look at courses such as how will you present your findings to a non-technical audience, and that's why we've introduced business communication here. Similarly, we've also introduced economics for analysts. Whilst you're studying a few elements of the management courses, we also have another elective that you're supposed to pick from the basket, right? So you will select another elective here. Going on, as you can see, quarter number 6 is completely focused on business courses, right? So you're studying business law and ethics, you're studying, behavior science and analytics, you're studying digital and social media analytics, something very relevant in today's time. Back again, now, since you will be managing a product altogether, right? With algorithms having written for a specific cause in an organization, this would fall under your product portfolio. So trying to understand that, we've introduced the course on product management. Similarly, being able to implement any new tool technique in the organization is a part of project management. You could consider it as a project that you are dealing with right from start to end. And thus you will deal with, a course in project management. Now, Back again, like I say, once you finished, understanding the technicalities, you've understood how to manage these technologies in the organization. The next bit that we come to is how do we scale this in the organization, or how do we deploy this in the organization? So in order to do that, okay, we've got a course on architecting enterprise applications, which means understanding, now that I have the algorithm, if I were to deploy this in the organization data, how should I go about it? You know, what kind of requirement is there in terms of setting up the infrastructure, right? What kind of processing will I require, right? So all of these nitty-gritties that come in, what are the costs? How do you ensure that it's running up and running all the time? All of this is what this particular course will help you with, right? All this was the theory, technical, and management aspect, right? And now comes the hands-on on whatever you've learned. So the product deployment bootcamp essentially is the immersion activity that we were talking about, right? Students are expected to come to the Mumbai campus and be able to work on 2 mock projects that we will be giving them, wherein they will be developing 2 mock prototypes. What could these projects look like? This could be maybe designing a chatbot. This could be maybe designing a recommender system, something similar to what you see on Amazon when you buy products, right? Based on what product you buy, but the bottom of the screen, you see similar products coming up, or the topic reads, people who got this product also got this, you know, and maybe you could then go ahead and shop. Likewise, if you're watching, certain series on the OTT platforms, when you watch one show or one series, a series of other recommendations are made to you based on what you have viewed, right? So we will give you 2 such projects that you need to work on in the boot camp. Okay, and I'll again, as I move on further, I'll tell you how will we go about executing this, right? Once you're done with that, then we get into research methods. And we believe that having this course at this point is important, because now that you have finished your I would say, made your mock products, and before you get into your master's dissertation, okay, understanding research methods would be very handy, right? If you see a part of quarter 7 and all of quarter 8 is focused on this dissertation, which means this is a heavy lifting activity that you will be doing. You basically will be given, a research objective. Okay, and based on that, you are expected to come out with new findings, right? Back again, when I come to the master's dissertation, I will explain things in more depth. All right. Is this bit clear so far? Do you have any questions? Okay, so I have a question by anonymous attendee who says, are there any requisites in terms of qualifications? Yes, there is an eligibility criteria in the program. I'm just going to come to it in a bit, right? So I will share that. All right, any other questions? Abir, okay, so Abir's question is, will I be able to apply for a PhD after this degree? Abir, a request here, please check with the institution that you want to apply at for your PhD program, because different institutes have a different criteria for admission, even in the PhD program. Some have a PhD entrance test, some consider specific exams like a PET exam or so, for enrollment. So please check that with the university you would like to apply. Okay. I have a question Okay. I have a question by Sanjana. Can a student of B.Sc Finance, okay, enroll for this program? So I'll tell you the basic eligibility for this program is a student should have had a math in the degree. Okay, so if you've studied BSc Finance and that basically has mathematics as a core subject, then yes, that's part one of the eligibility criteria is satisfied. The second bit in the eligibility says you must have a programming background, right? And when I say that, I mean have an overview of or a working knowledge of what do we mean by loops, what do we mean by basic constructs in programming, what do we mean by if-else, iterations, functions, recursion. Okay, having a little knowledge of that is required. Right. Nidhi, the question to you, is the same that I just mentioned. So I hope you've kind of picked it up from here. If you've got math, you've studied math and the basic programming elements, if you are aware of it or have studied it, yes, then you meet the eligibility criteria. Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on next. Let's come to the interesting bit that I mentioned to you about, right? The boot camp and the master's dissertation. So what exactly are we doing in Q7, which makes this program so exciting? So in Q7, the boot camp, like I said, is an immersion activity that's carried out on campus. Okay, and when the students are on campus, they typically will build 2 applications or 2 prototypes right from start to finish. And in order to be able to do so, whatever tools you've learned in the program, you've learned Python, you've learned Docker, GitHub, whatever you've been exposed to, you can actually put it to practice. A question that we usually get is it compulsory for a student to come on campus, okay, or come for the immersion program? The answer to that is yes. We believe it's thoroughly important for you to come onto campus, learn from your peers on how would you go about developing a prototype from start to end, right? Should you fail to attend this boot camp for any reason, what you could do is then join the students in the next batch. We usually have an intake every 3 months. So if you can't make it for a boot camp in a specific quarter, then you will be requested to come in the next quarter. Okay. Then coming to the master's dissertation program, the second half that you saw Q7 and all of Q8 is kind of reserved for this dissertation. Let me just walk you through what you will do in both of them. The boot camp is basically an individual project, right? And in this project, you will need to work on 2 topics or 2 objectives that will be given to you, right? And this could be depending upon the elective that you've selected. You basically get, to build a prototype based on that. At the end of this particular boot camp, you will have 2 mock products or 2 products ready, which can be deployed. That's basically the idea. Okay. And the whole idea of doing this is so that right from all the different courses that you have studied in the curriculum, you now get a chance to put or assimilate these learnings and actually put them to practice. That's the whole deal. It's not just one piecemeal learning. It's something which you have learned through all the courses that you're going to put to practice. How will this 5-day boot camp work, right? So on day 1, the way we have planned it, when you come onto the campus, you will have an 8-hour day long where you will be learning several aspects, right? So you'll be discussing with your professors, learning some inputs given by them on clearing your doubts. All of this will actually take place on day 1. From day 2 to day 5, right? Once the topics have been allocated to you, you basically will start working on these topics. Okay, since you are on campus, since there are facilitators with you, since there are your peers or your batchmates with you, this learning will be very interactive in nature, but at the same time, whilst the professor oversees what you're doing, you are completely on your own working. You can definitely clear doubts, you can ask questions, but back again, this is your own initiative, right? Once you are done with the immersion activity on campus, and once you go back to your locations, you are expected to make a presentation of about 3 to 5 slides to demonstrate what you did on, while you were on campus, what is the output, etc. Okay. How do we go about assessing you on this product that you're making? A few may say, okay, we gave it our best shot, we learned it all, but maybe the end product that we came up with may probably not work, or probably we're facing certain challenges in implementing it. So are you really going to mark us on that? Well, the idea is, we're looking at students being able to comprehend and apply what they have studied, and therefore marking them on several aspects is what makes us understand if they have been able to apply the knowledge or have the right approach to the solution. Okay, once they know that, have they been able to come up with a solution? So one is knowing the problem. Second one is being able to work around the problem. So that's solution. And the third is, how do you present the problem or the solution to the problem, right? So we will be marking you on not only the approach, the solution, as well as the presentation. It is mandatory to get a non-failing grade in this component, right? Because failing to meet this requirement, we believe you've not been able to understand, all your courses very well. Okay. Now comes the master's dissertation. In order to be able to undertake the master's dissertation, you should have gone through all the courses, and that's the reason why we've placed it at the end in the program. Okay. So as you can see, the prerequisite typically contains all the courses of the program. So what is it as a student that you're going to do here? As a student, what you're going to do is, based on the objective or the research problem that has been given to you, you're going to break it down and try find a solution based on certain data available out there. There will be a number of studies who would have probably done something similar. You will try and check whether what others have done, can you apply that? Or if not, how will you make what's already out there slightly better, right? So this is a research exercise. It's quite intensive, and that's the reason we have allocated 1.5 terms, so to say, to this particular activity. But believe me, when you undertake this activity, it gives you a very clear understanding of, the tools, techniques, the intricacies of being able to work with data, trying to figure out what could be a better way than what somebody has done. So I think it's a very self-discovery kind of a process, okay, wherein you will be required to read, apply, and test your, findings. So like I said, back again, an objective given to you, that's what it is. And you've got to try and meet that objective with data, research, reading, etc. What would these topics again be like? These topics would depend upon a little bit of what you've selected in your electives. Back again, these would depend upon, a broader research problem that exists at that point in time. Okay. Okay, moving on from here, how will this, dissertation work? Is it a group activity? No, it isn't. It is an individual work. Back again, every student needs to submit their own dissertation, right? Now, in order to explain to students what needs to be done, we formally have an orientation for the dissertation, okay? And then we assign topics to the students. Okay, we tell them what kind of literature they need to read, where will they, be able to, we'll give them pointers and indication to where should they look for. Of course, it's a prerogative of the student to go up, look for further readings, findings in that domain, right? However, we don't just leave you loose, to look into this, I would say, in this vast amount of data and knowledge that's already available. We kind of mentor you regularly. Right? So every student will get an hour for 20 weeks with the professor to be able to discuss their progress, to be able to ask questions, okay, to be able to find a path in the program, so that you're on your route to finishing the dissertation in time. That's one. A second thing, in order to ensure that the entire group moves together, we decided not to mark students only at the end, right? Let's not just look at the end result. Let's intermittently mark them so that we are confident that students are making progress. They are not left behind, right? So every 2 weeks, the students will be marked based on the progress that they're making. Anyway, they're interacting with the professor, so they will get inputs on how to move forward based on what the professor has to guide them. You usually will be spending about 9 to 10 hours per week on this kind of an activity in order to research yourself. However, given the fact that the entire term is dedicated to it, students do find to make that kind of time, right? Back again, out here, it's not evaluating somebody right at the end. It's evaluating for the approach you've taken, for the solution, and how do you go up and write or present your document your findings, what kind of a presentation you make, and how do you defend the work that you've done. So you will have to undergo a viva, wherein how do you answer questions based on the work that you've done. So we've appropriately categorized marks based on each component that is available here. We don't really advocate or the final grade that we give our dissertation. We mark students either as satisfactory or unsatisfactory, right? And any student who kind of gets an unsatisfactory in the first go, we give them a chance to reappear or resubmit their work, right? And there will be a resubmission. But even in this resubmission, if you get an unsatisfactory, okay, then the degree is not awarded to you, correct? All right. So this is the entire flow of the program. And now what we're going to look at is the examination component. But before I go into that, let me just take a few questions that you may have and then move on, right? Okay. Okay. I need to know math only to proceed this course or any other basic. Nutan, you will need not only math, but you will also need the basics of programming in order to move on. Yeah. Okay. Madhusudan, to your question, back again, you will need to check with the bodies. All right, let me take a few other questions. Javed, like I said, the eligibility to this program, okay, is not only math knowledge, okay, you should have had studied math earlier, but as well as you should also have had, I would say, a background or a working knowledge of programming. Some programming knowledge is necessary. It could be basic programming knowledge, but yes, that's necessary. Okay, Javed, that it is. Durga, you say, I don't have any technical experience. Can you join the program? Okay, but back again, like I said, the two criteria that I have been mentioning over and over again, math necessary, functional or basic preliminary knowledge of programming is necessary. Okay, then you're eligible. Rona, I will just walk you through, I will walk you through the topics. I mean, the companies that we've partnered with for placement assistance, right? All right. If you've got further questions, which probably are getting skipped at this point in time, and you want to seek answers to them, please feel free to write them down at the email ID that I have provided. It is ngasce@nmims.edu, right? All right. Let me quickly walk you through If you do not have programming as a base, I recommend to go through it, okay, and then be a part of the program. Because a basic working knowledge of programming, loops, iterations is necessary. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at how you will be examined for this program. What we usually follow here is we've got a continuous assessment pattern. What I mean is regularly within the program, you will have to undertake certain tests. Internal components, or IA, that is internal assessment format, right? Internal assessments are carried out for each course, and the number of internal assessments vary depending upon the number of credits that that course has been allocated. So each course, depending upon the number of hours that you study, has certain credits allocated to it. And depending on that, you will have IAs mapped to it. So there could be some courses which have, let's say, about 1 credit. There may be 3 internal tests. When there are courses with 4 or 5, there will be appropriately higher number of, internal assessments mapped to it. These internal assessments will be conducted after the sessions. All of these details will be mapped into your calendar and given to you. The IAs typically have multiple choice questions. If the course is a programming based course, then you may be asked to write maybe some lines of code or interpret the output for those lines of code. Okay, so that's the internal assessment. Every course comes in with internal assessment or internal assessments and a term end exam. Right? Whilst internal assessments form a major chunk of marks for that course, the term end exam, which is conducted at the end of the course, which tests you on the entire knowledge of the course. Okay, these tests or the term end exam is usually conducted over the weekend. There will be slots available for students to choose from where you can decide on which day you want to appear for the term end examination. Besides that, the 2 other components which are extremely important are the bootcamp, like I said, as well as the master dissertation. You will be appearing for vivas or, practical presentations or mock defense that you will have to take for these 2 particular elements or 2 components in the course. Long story short, every course will have an internal assessment component and a term end assessment component. Internal assessment component form almost 60% of your marks, and the term end component form 40% of your marks. We provide placement assistance for this particular program. Okay, in order to be eligible for this placement assistance, you will have to register yourself at the start of the 7th term in this program, right? What does this placement assistance entitle you with? You will get access to the NGASCE job portal. Okay, you will have various opportunities from NGASCE as well as our knowledge partners INSOFE. Students can also students will also be provided with CV development support, right? Now, what this essentially means is when we provide you with placement assistance, you will get job opportunities across our various hiring partners across locations, and you can basically apply for whatever opportunities come up on, from these partners that we've got until the end of the program, right? So there will be, job advisors who will guide you and mentor you through the program in arranging your interviews and any other placement assistance that may be required. Who are these partnering companies? I think one of our students did ask me that question, I think, and here's your answer. So we've got a pool of over 500 companies, both put together as our partners with NMIMS and INSOFE. And with these, the kind of opportunities that you would have will be tremendous. Okay. We've got a few terms and conditions for the placement assistance, wherein we say that if you've got an offer, okay, or if you've been invited, not an offer, I'm sorry, if you've been invited for an interview, you it is mandatory for you to basically attend that interview. And should you fail to attend it, okay, no further opportunities will be provided. However, if there are any exceptional conditions for which I think the university holds the right to make certain, discretion and then take a call on that. Once you receive the job offer, okay, basically the placement service terminates for that student. In order to support our students with their learning, okay, we've got various ways for them to reach out to the faculty. So one of the things that I mentioned to you was we've got Q&A mentor sessions, right, on Fridays, which walk you through maybe what was taught in the course, how do you apply it into the industry. That's one. Another way to reach out to the faculty is by posting questions, right? We've got a facility of post my query section onto the website, with the help of which you can post questions to the faculty based on the content that you've got, okay? Now, this is one element. However, we highly encourage peer learning. So we've got discussion groups, forums, wherein you can discuss with your classmates or with your batchmates, certain topics. Then again, even despite all of that, if your queries are not resolved, even after the post my query or even after discussion on the forum, we could also have a provision to dedicate a 15-minute call with the faculty, with the help of which maybe certain further doubts that you've got in the course can basically be resolved. You will have a course coordinator who will be assigned to you for every course or throughout the program, with the help of which, if you've got any bottlenecks in being able to complete the course or have bottlenecks in, the schedule, understanding it, or wherever you get any bottlenecks, the course coordinator will be your point of contact to assist you through the program. Coming on to admissions, okay. Here's the process for admission, right from the application form that you've got. We've got an eligibility criteria mentioned right onto this slide, wherein you need to have an engineering bachelor master's degree with math component in it, and you need to secure minimum 50%. I repeat this, these are two elements that you need to fulfill. That's our eligibility criteria. Engineering bachelor's or master's degree with math component with minimum 50 marks, okay? And next is basically candidates are expected to have a basic knowledge of programming, right? This means iterations, loops, for loops, while loops, recursions, functions. Those are the elements that you must know when I call it as basic knowledge of programming, okay? So once you've applied at the program, you'll undergo through the selection criteria. Once selected, you'll submit your documents. Okay, you will land up paying your fees, and then you will get a student confirmation that you've been selected and can kind of go ahead with the program. You'll get an email, ID, ID card, a student number will be generated, which is basically your student life cycle number through our program. All right. Then we talk about the re-registration process, which essentially means should you want to take a break in the program, and that's exactly what I was telling you earlier, the validity of the program is 48 months, right? So for any reason, if you have to skip a term, maybe you're on a tour, or maybe you just think there's a project which is almost come to a completion and you may not be able to give as much time, you need to deregister for the upcoming term or whichever term it is by raising a request, right? And once that's done, of course, you will be deregistered from that particular term. And once you want to get back into the program, you will need to re-register yourself. Okay, students basically can pay fee in two options. Okay, you've got an annual fee payment and you've got the full fee payment. So once you finish a term, you will automatically be re-registered for the successive terms, right? If you finished all your terms correctly and you've met the requirements, you basically move on to the next term automatically. This is if you've done the annual payment, right? When you make the payment for the second year back again, you will be automatically registered for the upcoming terms in the second year as well. When you pay a full fee payment, okay, you will automatically be registered for subsequent terms that keep coming until the completion of the program. Should you not clear any subject, okay, or should you fail any subject, in that case, you will need to repeat that subject, and there is a fee associated with it, which is 6,000 rupees into the number of credits for that particular course. If you want to give a re-exam, the re-examination fee will be 2,500, okay, when you have to repeat the course. And the progression, okay, students will not be able to progress until they have finished all the courses that are required for the current term. We also have an exit policy here in the program, which essentially means for those students who want to exit the program at the end of the first year, there is an option, okay? But in order to do so, you will need to raise a service request. And when you have successfully finished all the courses, cleared them in year one, what will be issued to you will be a PG diploma certificate in data science. Okay, and for those students who've basically paid a 2-year fee, you can also get a refund before, when you raise your exit, request. Yes, this is what I have had to offer. We've got renowned faculty from NMIMS and INSOFE who will be carrying out this or delivering this program to you. Faculty here hold a PhD in the respective area that they will be teaching you in, and they come with a whole lot of expertise. I would say consultation expertise, okay, expertise in dealing with several concepts across that particular program, right? So we've got a rich pool of faculty available here. Okay, so that was from my end, and I'm going to try answer a few questions for you, right? Okay. Let me quickly see what we've got. Okay. Is there a time flexibility for IA for the one who is not in India? Abir, at this point in time, our timings for the IAs are pretty fixed, right? So, okay. Can I apply PG program and later for the M.Sc program? Sukanta, the answer to that is yes. Like I said, the eligibility criteria for the program is clearly known to you. So if you meet that, Sukanta, you can certainly, kind of apply. Okay. Javed, your question, BSc, BA, BSc, BCom, I think I again mentioned that eligibility criteria. Please look at it and then you can kind of apply. Okay. Madhusudan, okay, Madhusudan says career assistance is available for 2 years. It only starts after term 7, right? So I said you have to enroll yourself or let us know in term 7. So by then you're almost at the end of the program, right? So if you get selected and are shortlisted by any company, they will give you the offer letter depending upon when you finish the program. All right. Is there any entrance exam for this program? Nidhi, at this point in time, there isn't. Okay. But we do have an interview process for students where we feel is required, right? Okay. Shashank, I am replying to your question. Okay, great. Nidhi, back again. What is the minimum CGPA for engineer bachelor? I clearly mentioned to you the eligibility is since you've got an engineering degree, you should have had 50% in math. That's what it is, right? 50% in math courses. At the same time, you should have had some kind of a programming knowledge that's necessary. Okay. Jyoti, doesn't matter. So Jyoti says, I'm a metallurgical engineer. And is this course good for me? If you really want to pursue your career in data science in the area of AI ML, I would recommend this course for you. Please bear in mind, what is it that you want to do at the end of this program? Okay. Jyoti, you will need to figure out from your company. Okay, so let me see some more questions. Okay. We do not share the presentation deck. Okay. Abir, since you're working, a question here, as you're working in deep learning domain, can you get a project related to the same domain, or can it be any other? We can certainly try give you a project related to that, but back again, it would depend on what kind of electives, what you've studied. You can certainly apply something similar in the project that has been given. So yes, we could try for it. However, at this point in time, since you're not a part of my cohort, a little difficult to commit, but we can definitely look into it. Yes, it's not a difficult task. Okay. All right, do we have any other questions? Ronak, as mentioned by my team, you can have a view of, this will be available on our social handles, so you can view this anytime. Abir, the answer to your question is yes. Nutan, you will find all these details on our website. So you could please go ahead and just view our program on the website and you will get all the details. Shashank, the class timings are in the evening. Okay. When I say evenings, I mean 7:30. That's how it is. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for attending this info session. There could be a few questions that you've got, or probably when you go back and look at our program, there may be a few more questions that may come up to you. Please feel free to write to us at ngasce@nmims.edu for any further questions regarding this program, and we'll be more than happy to take your questions and answer them. Okay, I hope you're convinced about our offering, and for a lot of you who are still in two minds about whether is this the program for you or not, given the kind of exposure you get in application of the concepts learned, I definitely think this program is a good takeaway, right? So I look forward to seeing you in class, and good luck. Thank you so much, everyone.